Good morning, everyone. My name is Bondarenko. I'm a founder and CEO of Discoperi. Today I want to talk to you about the way we can solve one of the biggest social challenges with the help of the community. So, in particular, I would like to talk about road accidents because our company is heavily involved in automotive industry, and for second reason, because this is something which is important for myself. 2.5 years ago, I've been with my family in a car, in a taxi, and our taxi driver crossed the road on a red light. In this moment, you forget about everything you thought before, about your job, about your daily responsibilities, about your ambitions. The only thing what you try to do is basically pray and ask for the second chance. And this is my second chance. But actually, from the moment when I understood road accidents is a problem with 150 years of history. You've seen right now on your stages Mary Ward, who was killed first by her car 150 years ago. 150 years ago. Think about what happened afterwards. World War I, World War II, and we still have this problem on the roads. Yes, at that moment, the number of cars with a steam engine was, I think, less than we have today electric vehicles on our roads, right? But still the problem exists. So when we first started thinking about the problem, we didn't really understand how big it was. From the economical point of view, we have a people death, which is 1.3 people annually. And when you think about actually this number, I want to specifically point that from my beginning of speech, more or less 2.5 people died in road accidents somewhere in the world. I don't know where it happened. It actually happens right away. So when you think about that, you need to understand about economic value or economic damage. We're actually dealing here with economic damage equal to 1.5 trillion at least annual damage for a global economy. Now, to give you a reference point, global economy last year was close to 80 billion. So it actually more or less 2% of what our global economy is doing. Now, you can ask me why we still have, after 150 years, this problem. Why the industry doesn't do anything. In fact, industry is doing quite a lot, but the question is right now execution and not the ideas behind. So here you see a couple of the main, let's say, showing up technologies which have been on the road accidents prevention and safety industry for the 150 years. And the main idea is not that these are the best things we ever had. The main idea is the timeline before the idea came up until the market deployment. So ABS took almost 60 years to get to the market. Airbags more than 30 years. So when you think about that, you think, okay, when the technology for safety, lives, for road accident prevention will be in place. I personally can't wait for another 30 years to see that. With this in mind, we start thinking what can be the best technology for road accidents prevention. And we understood that the best technology for road accidents prevention has to be something which can see what happens on the road and then in a real time understand the potential level of risk. And actually, once it gets the level of risk, this technology has to actually spread this information to all of the people or the cars involved and do that instantly. That's the only way how you can potentially avoid having a collision. With this idea, 2.5 years ago, we started building our solution because we couldn't find anything on the market. I would rather go there and buy, but there is nothing. Full stop. So when you think about solution, the solution has to do 4 things. The first, we need to understand where the event happens. The road, the potholes, lanes, bridges. The second is what are the weather conditions, rain, icy, fall, whatever. The third one is who are those actors on the road? Cars, vehicles, bicycles, pedestrians, animals, whatever. And the last one is their behavior. And once you get it all together, you can calculate the level of risk of potential accident. And to do that, you need to have a very strong computer because otherwise it's going to just screw it up. You need to be very careful and very precise. Now, this is what we started building 2.5 years ago, and that was our ambition. We want to save at least 300,000 lives and lower number of road accidents by 25%. But that was what we were thinking about that, and not what the industry intended to do. Last year, we have been approached by multiple companies with the idea to take this technology and put it to the new cars. We actually walk away from every single deal. The reason was that each of these people who, you know, the big guys, automotive companies, they want to have it all, exclusivity, and we can't afford it. Because as I used to say, even in Munich you have BMWs and Mercedes-Benz. So you cannot give it to a single company. Right, so in this case, how are you gonna bring this technology on the market if each of the players wanna have it all? And here, where we actually start thinking about the community first. So community is our way to stay independent. If we build our community of people who don't really wanna, live in this life this way, who don't wanna put themselves under risk, their families, who wanna change something, then you can build this system without the big guys being involved. And that's exactly the ambition which we have. To be able to do that, we actually understood that we need to have a couple of another pillars in place. The first one, we need to get the data. Get data from the road, as I told before, get it quickly, get it accurately. The second, to analyze the data. We actually built multiple of AI networks. You can see, you can Google, you're gonna find a lot of them. So they all need to be working precisely in the same time. The third, you need to be able to share this information. So the solution that we built is able to spread the information in a very easy and natural way. It actually takes 0.012 seconds right now from 0.8, which was before, for us to spread information. We develop certain protocols. The next one, you need to be able to monetize this information, because people don't want to just be safe, they want to be incentivized by insurance companies, by our system, by some other things, and last, you need to be able to control. So each of the driver is a unique part of the community, and each of the driver can control his own data, with whom he shares or she shares, and how much he or she charges for that. To be able to do that, a year ago we understood the power of blockchain. I think you all know what the blockchain is, but for us, a couple of things were really important. The first one is building a trust within the community, because for us, the trust is everything. If you have a trust, then you can actually use this data in the court, you can engage with multiple people, and you can be safe that it is equal for anyone else in the road. The second is transparency. We want to make sure that no one from the politicians, from the rich people, from the criminals, come up to us and actually try to fix the data in a favorable or unfavorable way to him. We want to be sure that the system isn't biased. So now a couple of words how the system going to look like. So once there is some event, let's imagine there is an event, you see it in the center, there is an accident, I was in the first car who captured this information. So I'm going to 150, I'm a crazy guy. But once I capture this information, the whole system starts working. This is the valuable information for the system, so what we do, we basically trigger the process for pulling up additional data points. I was that fast, I couldn't see number, maybe colors, whatever. But all of the people who were there after myself actually could add additional data points to create a holistic picture. Now, this picture has a huge value, just huge value. According to our analysis, it has at least 1.5 trillion demand for this information, and there is not enough of this data out there on the market. Insurance companies, fleets, governments, police are willing to pay for this data. Now, once all the information is collected, we put this information as a hash to the blockchain. And as a blockchain, right now, this information is trackable, traceable, and trust. You can trust this information. So once there is a buyer for this data, we actually enable the transaction between the buyer and the seller of the data, so that the seller can actually get the information right away, and the buyer, like a drivers, can be paid for the information. So what you do, nothing but you just use our small device. This is it. I just brought it from the TechCrunch. This is a small device which you put inside the car. This device actually scans the road, informs you about all the potential risks which has been captured on your behalf and actually helps you to make money out of that. That's what it is, innovation. But to do that, you need to have a community. You don't need to have a big guys. You do not need to have a large capex investments. You need to build community. That's what we're doing. So since more or less end of this year, each of you can be part of this community and actually benefit for yourself. Couple of things about our company. I know time is up. We won so many awards international. We actually have behind a very exceptional team of members from all around the world. We work with research institutions which are heavily involved in the blockchain. We have PhDs in AI, many people who can do AI, one of the most easiest way for the human beings. Right now, we try to fundraise. So we actually went through the ICO stage. I know many of you will say that ICO is damn crap, bad, but we are different. So we want to build community so that everyone can actually benefit and make money of it potentially, or at least have access point. Thank you so much.